What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to this afternoon show. And I know I'm late, but I could have been late with a waiting screen, but I'm not. So I guess that kind of makes me on time, right? At least that's how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. So I hope you're all well. I'm still on the coffee, so excuse me, it is early doors for me. I'm still drinking coffee. So we're going to talk about Itakura. We're going to talk about Jordan Henderson. We're going to talk about some other bits and bobs as well. But finally, we can also start looking ahead to the game on Sunday, which I'm very excited about. Colin said a monster welcome into everybody in the house. Now you've got me singing Monster Mash in my head, mate. The Monster Mash. How are we? Need a CDM. I don't think we do, Steve. And I never thought I'd be saying that, dude. Honestly. I don't think we do need a defensive midfielder at the minute. We just need Watoro back and Bajcetic fit. So I think, again, I feel weird in this transfer window because I'm actually optimistic rather than pessimistic. And normally in a transfer window, I'm screaming at this point. You know, go back to any other transfer window. Halfway through it, you'll see many thumbnails of me in angry mode, shouting and frustrated. But right now, I'm cool as a cucumber and just, I'm okay with it. It's weird. I don't know if I'm deluded, probably, but I'm just feeling a bit more relaxed about stuff. Do I not sleep? I do, Mac. I just sleep at really weird hours, mate. So I go to sleep at about 6 a.m., 7 a.m., usually about that time. And I usually get up at about 2:30, 3. Don't ask me why. That's just the sleeping pattern I've fallen into since COVID. And that's why the first streams are 4 and the next one's at 8:30. There you go. I do have a bit of a vampire in that sense. Right. So let's talk about, someone said Itakura is a centre back. We know that, mate. We know that. We weren't talking about Itakura as a defensive midfielder, but somebody just said we need a defensive midfielder in the chat. So look, let's talk about Itakura, I suppose, considering everybody's in nice and early. Let's get stuck into it. So Sky Sports in Germany reported yesterday that Liverpool and Spurs are both interested in the player, and they say that he's 26 years of age and Jurgen Klopp likes the Japanese defender. The interesting part is that he can be signed in the summer for just £13 million because of the release clause in his contract that's active in the summer. That's pretty appealing. And it's weird that these things seem to happen in bunches with Liverpool, right? We get players that maybe have never come in and played, and then we've had Minamino, and now we've got Watoro, and now all of a sudden we could be having Itakura. I love it. I love how we've got these little mini communities of footballers inside Liverpool. That's fantastic. But look, we don't know what's going to happen, but it's a very Liverpool friendly link, if you get me. It ticks a lot of boxes in there. 26 is okay if you're spending low money. And I've talked to you guys about what I would like from a centre-back if Liverpool were to go into the market. And looking at what we have right now, we've got two very young and gaining experience centre-backs. Obviously, Kanade further ahead than Jarell Kwanzaa. Then you've got your really, really experienced Virgil van Dijk, and you've got your midway point of 26 with Joe Gomez. So I think if we bring in a centre-back around 26 years of age, that's perfect because we're looking to replace Joel Matip. Joel Matip was obviously a senior pro at the club, 32 years of age, I think. So 26 makes absolute sense to me at this price point. Anything above, like if you're bringing a 26-year-old and you're spending more than that, if you need the centre-back right away, like we did when we had Virgil van Dijk, then okay, you go and you spend big money on a player who can come straight into the team and be a difference maker like Virgil van Dijk was. But I think this is sensible. And look, I'm not for 1 minute saying it's 100% happening, but you can see why it would be attractive to Liverpool, right? 13 million quid in the summer. Same with Spurs. We seem to be in a lot of player races with Spurs over the last few seasons. We already have the best Japanese player of all time, but that's okay. There's nothing to say we can't have another one or two. I guess continuity, teammates, friendliness, work ethic, there's lots of positives. Look, whenever I watch the Japanese men's national team play, you're always struck by the technical proficiency of the players, the work rate, and the fight. Japanese teams, Japanese players, they always make it difficult when they play against you. So I'd be okay with this one, I've got to say. It's not like my first choice, but it's value. So I understand it from that regard. Because it depends what Jurgen wants to do. Are we bringing in a centre-back to compete to start every week? Probably not. Because that's where we've got Kanade, Kwanzaa and Van Dijk. And Gomez when he's back as well. So I think this is making sense, at least as a link, at 13 million quid. Patrick Berger's been talking about it as well, said it is buyout clause comes into effect next summer. So, look, it doesn't surprise me that clubs like Liverpool are showing interest. Makes sense. That price doesn't come until the summer. That's pretty much what I just said, Eugene. Again, I feel like people are correcting me for stuff that I've actually said. And that's okay because we don't, maybe we don't bring in a centre-back till the summer. I don't know. If we are strengthening this window, I would like it to be a centre-back. But also, if Costas and Robbo are close back, we have options. And the option being, at the minute, we just have Joe Gomez as a full-back cover, whether it be left or right. But once we get Robbo back, we've got, at least Joe can be looked at in a centre-back position. My wife said I spend more time listening to you than her. I'm sure my wife would have something of the same to say, mate, that I actually spend more time with you guys than her. But, tough shit, wifey. But also, my wife also says a thank you to you guys because she doesn't have to listen to me and you guys are listening to me. So I think it takes some of the pressure off my wife, to be fair. Right, let's talk about Jordan Henderson. So apparently he's going to sign or has signed that contract until 2026 at Ajax. So that's quite interesting, really. That they're going to keep him there until Klopp leaves Liverpool. Pretty much 2026. I gotta be honest, I didn't see that coming when he was going over to Ajax. I thought it was going to be a short-term thing, maybe end of the season, but it looks like it's going to be, as per Fabrizio Romano, Jordan Henderson there until 2026. Here's one that you didn't see coming, and I'm genuinely serious about this. Steven Gerrard has signed a new deal with El Ettifaq. So apparently not winning games of football over in Saudi, it means you get new deals. It's weird. I almost feel like, has anybody seen that play The Producers? I was talking to Ben about this earlier on. If you haven't seen The Producers, basically the whole the concept of it is that they make a play to lose money on purpose because it's a tax scam. So, who else gets rewarded for not winning a game in 5 months or whatever it is? It's a bit weird. I don't get it. But he signs a new deal anyway that will keep him at El Ettifaq until 2027. So there'll be no tax being paid for Steven Gerrard. That's what I can tell you. He's like, nah, Hendo, you can run off, mate, but I'm staying here. Nobody getting no tax out of me. I'm doing my full service, buddy. I'm getting that wedge. That's the proper way to do it. If you're going to run off and take a paycheck, make sure you don't pay no tax on it. So Stevie G's he's there till 2027. Hi Craig, Tosin Adebayo from Fulham, Tosin Adebayo from Fulham is on a free at the end of the season and Premier League proven, and he leaves more money for Billy Big Mbappe. If I'm going to Fulham, I want Mr. Anthony Robinson, please and thank you very much. I can't say I paid any attention to Adebayo, Luke, in all honesty, mate. Thank you so much for your super chat, by the way, mate. You're very kind. I can't say I've paid much attention to him. And also, I'm worried about free transfers. I always have this question in mind when we're looking at a free transfer. Would we buy him if they had a price tag, or is it just because they're free? And in this case, I feel it would very much be because he'd be free. What is the preview for the game on Sunday? So, I'm off on Saturday and I'm going to put it out then. Normally we put it out 2 days beforehand, so I would record it tomorrow and put it out then. But because I'm going to take Saturday off, I'm going to put it out on Saturday. So I'll leave it up for the entire day there, so people get a 24-hour preview to watch it. I also want to hear some more from Kloppo in his press conference before I get the video recorded and stuff, just to make sure we don't have any errors with players who aren't available and stuff. So we still, at this moment, you still don't know 100% about Szoboszlai. Craig, could we buy Gay? He's strongly been linked with us. He was linked to us last summer. He's linked to us again this summer. Or excuse me, this winter. But not for this winter. I don't think Palace are going to be in a position to sell anybody this window. It is just a very, very strange January all around. One of the quietest January transfer windows I can remember. And I mean, across the board. We went through the numbers yesterday. Miguel Delaney said that, like, this time last year, so far now, there's only been 10% of the money spent that was spent last year, which is crazy. So yeah, it's a very quiet window. And I don't know if it's going to be, one transfer might trigger a few more. So we were talking about Sonko as well yesterday. A lot of people are asking about this young man. 18-year-old Swedish forward, Mamadou Sonko, plays for Häcken, who finished third last year in their division. And he's under contract till 2025. Now, 6 million is the valuation that's been put on him, which, look, I don't know if this kid would be good enough longer term, but if Liverpool are looking and 6 million is the price tag, I mean, it's worth a roll of the dice, surely. Even if you brought him in, sent him out on loan somewhere, and he did alright and it didn't work out with Liverpool, you probably still turn a few quid there. So, reports say that Liverpool and a few other clubs have sent scouts to look at him. But 6 million quid. I don't know anything about the kid. Nothing. Not seen him play football. I know he's been in the Europa League, I think, this season. So anybody who has watched them, I know there's some Swedish people in the chat. Maybe you guys can fill us in on if this lad is a real talent or if he's just a flavour of the month type of thing. If we don't have Dom for Bournemouth, I don't know if we're getting 3 points. So I did sit down last night and do out my team for Bournemouth. It was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I did my team out last night. The part I struggled with was the midfield. Not the DM, that's most likely going to be McAllister. But I struggled with the two to play ahead of McAllister, trying to find the balance. I came up with something that I don't think a lot of people are going to like, but hey-ho. But what I don't want to see is Elliott on the right wing, because it hasn't worked in the last couple of games, and I think Diaz should start on the right wing for this one. Hope you're feeling better today. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, Joe, I finished the stream last night, mate. I sat down for 2 or 3 minutes just to stop being dizzy, and then I went up, had a shower, came downstairs, and I felt a good bit better, to be honest with you. I don't know what it was last night. It just felt very strange. My eyes and stuff were just not being able to read the screen properly, and I was a bit dizzy and stuff. But I'm alright today, thank you. Feeling normal today. Although somebody did freak the hell out of me last night in the chat. Oh, Craig, my brother's wife died in her sleep the other night. Be careful. Huh? I mean, obviously that's an incredibly sad chain of events, but like, cheers for that thought process before I went to bed. Craig, be careful. Don't die in your sleep there, fella. Bit of low blood sugar. I think that's what it might have been, because as you guys know, I only eat once a day. I eat once at 1 a.m. and that's it. I don't eat for the rest of the day. Now, I eat crap. Gotta be honest with you. You know, what I eat is terrible. But I do only eat once a day, and I just drink coffee and water for the rest of the day. So yes, it very well could have been low blood sugar. Have you had your bloods checked? Yes, actually. I did. I had blood tests done a few months ago. And my mum was a diabetic, so we used to, when my mum was alive, when we spoke, I often would just prick my finger with her thing and test my blood. My bloods are alright, to be honest with you. Yeah, so in that sense, thankfully, everything okay. It most likely is what the dude in the chat said. Just low blood sugar. Maybe should have eaten something a bit earlier. He's a good player for Häcken. Häcken has been one of the best teams in Sweden, behind Malmo for the last 3-4 years. They're a good team with good, exciting talents. Thank you, Kermit. Appreciate that, my man. Always good, because I know we've got viewers who watch from different parts of the world, so I knew somebody would have a bit of information on Mr. Sonko. So Divock, little bit on Lord Divock Origi. He's been linked a lot to the Premier League, and Tom Boggart has said that he can say with certainty he's been offered the clubs around the league, so possibility of him joining the MLS is real. I think he's a player who would make a lot of sense in the MLS, but let's see if a deal there happens. So, here's the bit that really excited me, right? TalkSport were doing a piece, and they said Chelsea could be vulnerable to offers for Levi Colwill this summer. He was open apparently last summer to leaving Chelsea, but Mauricio Pochettino had a conversation with him and I guess sold him the vision of what Pochettino wanted and what he's seen for Colwill. But like we spoke about, the fact that they're openly saying that, they take money for Gallagher, who's another academy product. If they do have some issues with FFP or if they have some issues around needing to free up money, I hope we do stick the boot in and put in an offer for Colwill, because I feel like he would be the last piece of the jigsaw. So let me know what you guys think. And nobody seems to mention a number in any of the articles I've read. But I would imagine if you're looking for Colwill, you're paying... I'd be amazed if it's less than 50. I'm sure it'll be more, in all honesty. When you see that Chelsea have put a price tag on Broha of £50 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Chelsea have a price tag on Armando Broha at £50 million. Why? In what world is he worth 50 million quid as it sits? Granted, he could do a job for somebody, and he's certainly of Premier League level, but he's not proved in any way, shape or form the consistency yet to demand a fee of 50 million quid. That just seems crazy for me. So if they're asking that for Broha, I'd be frightened to see what they'd perhaps ask for or be looking for Colwill. Matthias de Ligt, get him. He's not happy with the situation at Bayern. I'm worried about De Ligt. I'd have to say, and now I had the same concern about Gravenberch and I was wrong, but didn't work out at Juve, not really working out at Bayern. I'm concerned as to why. And also, he got a really high wage very early in his career. If I remember correctly, I think he was getting paid about 300 grand a week, euro, when he went to Juventus. Now, I don't know what his salary is at Bayern Munich. He could have gone down, I've no idea. But, no, I think that would just be a deal that would be a ridiculous amount of money involved and not value for money for Liverpool, for Matthias de Ligt. Craig, is that funny that Ko Itakura came from Coventry and Swansea and now Sporting won 73 million from... I was thinking about that very thing last night, Steve. I know your name's not really Steve Jobless, but I have to call you something, so I'm calling you Steve. Yeah, it is mad, isn't it? When he was at Coventry, the fees were far more reasonable. Now he's gone to Lisbon, one season there, and as you said, £73 million now is the price tag that they're asking for, when I think Chelsea and a couple of others came knocking. Broha, £50 million. Solanke must be worth 100 million. Well, hopefully Solanke is worth 100 million, because we've got 20% sell on there. So, yeah, Solanke's definitely worth 100 million. Anybody who's watching and thinking about making an offer to Bournemouth, 100 million's absolutely reasonable and fair for Dominic Solanke. So stop being cheapskates and get the wallet out and pay the 100 million for Solanke, please, Newcastle. Very good value for money there. Want to give a shout out to Carlsberg. Didn't expect that, right? Want to give a shout out to... No, let me get that correct. Want to give a shout out to Carlsberg 0.0% alcohol. Got an email yesterday from the good folks at Carlsberg inviting me to an event they're doing with Gus Poyet and Bruce Grobbelaar ahead of the Chelsea game. Don't know if I'll be able to make the event, whatever, but thank you to Carlsberg for reaching out. Very much appreciated. It's nice to be considered for these type of things, so thank you, Carlsberg. Now, if you'd like me to go over to a corporate box and do something at Anfield, Carlsberg, I feel like I could make the sacrifice for the viewers, of course. Afternoon, Craig. Hope you're well. Have you seen the video of Dom, Ibu, and I think it was Gakpo? Don't quote me. But the last one is in a bangle shop? You're not winning me over here, dude. Next we'll be talking about ponytails and scrunchies. Not really what me footballers. What me footballers, I don't know, tattoo parlours. I'll accept buying trainers, perhaps. AFCON watch-along. I haven't... Do you know what? I'll be honest, it's never really been a tournament I pay too much attention to. Other than maybe the last few rounds. Look, what I've seen so far of the AFCON, there's been a few surprises this campaign. Did you say bagel or bangle? It was a bagel factory. Oh, bagels are fine. Nothing against bagels. I love a good bagel. That's fine. Nothing wrong with a bagel factory. So what's everyone's favourite bagel, by the way? You know, I need to know. I'm poppy seed man myself. Poppy seed bagel, bacon and cream cheese. That's the job for me. Or plain bagel, banana and jam. Any of those two and I'm all over it. If I type Carlsberg 50 times, will they send me some free beer? They might do. They might do. Right. Apparently Bayern Munich are ready to negotiate for Joshua Kimmich in the summer. What are we saying? Would you go for it? New York cinnamon and raisin. Oh yeah, cinnamon and raisin's banging. Yeah. Especially with jam. Cinnamon and raisin with a bit of raspberry strawberry jam is absolutely banging. I don't like bagels. Kyle, how can you not like bagels? That's like the most inoffensive thing in the world. Bagels are amazing. Too old, said Altaf. So, I think he ends up at Man City. Especially if they move on Calvin Phillips. I think he's nailed on to end up at Man City. But I have to say, if we lose Thiago and we need a space for a bit of a senior pro, I wouldn't say no to Kimmich. I wouldn't. You know, if we move on Thiago, we want somebody to fulfill that role. Yes, but I do think he ends up at Man City, if I'm being honest. Oh, look, I have a lovely quote from Alexis McAllister. And when I read this, I got to say, lads, I felt proud. I don't know, I just felt really proud. So talking about Liverpool, he said, I want to spend many years here at Liverpool. I really enjoy my life here. Hopefully I'll be here for a long time. Yes, sir. Love that. Love that from Alexis. So that just shows you the group of players we have, right? And the environment that Klopp has fostered at the club. It's a real family vibe by the looks of it. And it's great to see players like Alexis come out and say things like that. Am I not watching Mo, Craig? No. I don't know how many times I have to say I don't give a shit about international football or our players playing international football before anybody realises I'm serious. It's nothing against the AFCON. I barely watch any international football at the best of times, mate. It just doesn't do it for me. And especially the way Mo's being criticised by some of the Egyptian media. I'm feeling very angry about that still, to be honest with you. That Tarek dude. Honestly, that's wound me up something fierce over the last week. When is the Europa League draw? So it's already taken place, but we have to wait for the next round to happen. I know it feels weird, doesn't it? But we do have to wait for the next round to happen before the draw happens. So right now there's a round for teams that dropped out of the Champions League and teams that finish second in the Europa League groups. And then the next round automatic starts. And because we won our Europa League group, we don't have to take care of that round. So those games are played in February. And then I'm not sure if the draw's later February. I think it might be. And that's when we find out. So I think it'll be March before we're back in Europa League action. I hope Mo and Endo go out, respectfully, said Etho. Look, it's a struggle, right? Because look, the Liverpool fans in us all want them home, right? Want them back at Anfield. But the respectful part of us wants them to do well with their countries, of course. And you know, you want your players happy as well. So a good tournament with their countries and hopefully they're happy. But I can't lie, like there's a big part of me as well that falls into the, oh, did you get knocked out early? Oh, darn it. Ain't that terrible? I want to know, is Itakura any good? The honest answer for Leon for me is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But if we're being linked with him and he's only 30 million in the summer and Klopp thinks it's worth a punt, and he's 26, it's fair enough. Like it's another reasonable deal, and Klopp found a bargain in Endo by the looks of it. So maybe this is another one of those bargains to maybe think a bit shorter term for, but it gives a chance for some of the academy products again. Craig, did you buy or get tickets for the Europa League final in Dublin? No, and no, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet, Ray. There's a huge part of me that says stay here and do the watch along like normal. There's another part of me that wants to do something in Dublin, maybe a venue watch along together, show, something like that. But I can't go to the game. I just can't. I could probably get tickets. I'm not going to lie. I could probably get tickets. I could, through one of my sponsors, I'd probably be able to get tickets. But it feels like it would feel wrong. I can't lie to you. It would feel wrong. I feel like I would abandon my peeps. And I don't think I'll go. I think if we get to the final, I want to be doing something around it with you guys. So whether it's a watch along here or whether it's a show in Dublin, I don't know. But and also I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because we ain't in the Europa League final yet. We have oddly similar names and look kind of like each other. We do, except I know how to spell my name and you don't know how to spell my name, so they're not that oddly similar, mate. I know how my name is spelt and you clearly don't, so there is that. You need to go to Anfield, do a stadium game experience. I'd love to see that. Yeah, look, on that, again, as I've said, I think I'm going to be going over with the guy who runs Oosh. I think the plan is myself and Michael go over to a game together in the second half of the season. It's going to be a surprise one day, though, because you're going to turn on, there's going to be no watch-along. Because I'm not going to announce when I'm going. Because I'm not going through what I went through the last time again, with the threats and my phone number being doxed and all that type of shit. So if I do go to a game second half of the season, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to go. Right, more stats. So, Transfermarkt said, which clubs promote the most players from their youth academy? And then there's most academy players in the first team for the 2023-2024 Premier League campaign. And who's top of the pile? It's us, which is a lovely stat to read. So Liverpool top the pile with 9 players currently in the 23-24 squad that came in through the academy, with a total of 393 matches played by our academy products. Second, Chelsea, 9 again, same amount but less games played, 255. Third on the list, Manchester United, 7 academy products in their team, 615 matches played. So the most matches, by the way, from academy products. So full credit to United on that. It's not going too well for them, but you do like to see academy players come through. Sheffield United with 7 and only 25 games, so not too many. Then comes Arsenal, 5 academy products playing 378 games. Brighton, Newcastle, both with 5 products. Crystal Palace. Manchester City are 9th on the list with 3 academy products with 179 games. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things Manchester City fans like to harp on and bang on about is Pep Guardiola bringing through players. They love to point to Bob. They love to point to Foden. They love to point to... I can't even think of the other dude's name that plays for them. The other midfielder. But 3 is not a very... 3? Are we still supposed to believe the nonsense? But Liverpool up there with 9. So, Rico Lewis, yes, that's the other mate. Thank you, it's Rico Lewis, yes. So, yeah, so it shows again that they're full of it in that regard. If there is a manager who's bringing through academy products and giving them a chance, it's Klopp, or it's Pochettino, or to be fair, Ten Hag. All with 9, 9 and 7 academy products. So, again, it's just more nonsense from the nonsense-spouting citizens. But yeah, lovely stat that to read as a Liverpool fan. Anyway, that we have 9 academy products in the squad for the first team. What have we got? Craig, choose one, cats or dogs? Dogs, every day of the week, 100%, million times. Dog, 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 dog. Thing is, I think a cat would kill you in a minute. I think if it could, a cat would turn around and kill you immediately. And because they've got that killer nature. Dogs, I think of it this way. If I died and I had a cat, the cat would claw my face off and eat me. That's how I feel. If I had a dog, I feel like the dog would just sit beside me and wait for somebody to come and be that loyal companion. So I'm definitely on team dogs, on the dogs versus cats scale of pet ownership. Come on, Craig, Mbappe, LeBron. Don't make me do it again. don't want me to do it. That's a 8:30 link. You know, the Mbappe Express doesn't leave until 8:30, so we don't do the choo choo till then. Right, so there is a poll apparently in the chat. Dogs or cats? What you saying? It's got to be dogs, right? It's got to be dogs, surely. Man's best friend and all that. Dogs is the only correct answer, said T. I feel so as well. Dogs is the correct answer. You don't have to walk a cat. So? You're saying that walking a dog's a bad thing? No, I love my Harvey-Null. That's what I call my dog, by the way. I don't call him Harvey ever. Everybody in the house, that's his name. His name's Harvey, but I call him Harvey-Null. I don't know why. I just do. As much as I like dogs, cats is the better option. Nah. No. Dog's the better option, mate. 100%. What use is a cat going to be if somebody breaks into your house? I know that if I'm away on a work trip, that Harvey-Null is downstairs, ready if anybody comes near the front or back door to alert everybody in the house and keep them safe. I know that with my dog. How good is your cat going to be in that situation? That's what alarms are for. But alarms can't attack somebody. Your alarm let's be honest, in this day and age when we all hear an alarm going off, most of us don't think, oh my God, I hope everything's okay. Most of us think, would you ever shut that thing up? Let's be honest. If we're in our houses and we hear an alarm going off outside, none of us are running out to think, oh my God, is everyone okay? We're all like, will you shut that thing up? What is my dog breed? French Bulldog. French Bulldog. If I had more space, I'd have a bigger dog, but I don't. You know, I live in a normal housing estate. If I had enough space, I'd have a Labrador. What's the centre-back news? So, there was a couple of reports yesterday, that said Liverpool and Spurs are interested in Itakura, sorry for my pronunciation, and that he has a £13 million release clause that comes into effect in the summer, and Liverpool are looking at him, as I said, along with Spurs. Come to Australia and get a pet crocodile. Nah, you're alright. I'll pass on that one, thank you. I don't mind putting my hand into Harvey's mouth if he's chewing on something he shouldn't. But I'm damned if I'm sticking my hand into the pet crocodile's mouth to get out something he shouldn't be chewing on. I'll be like, yeah, you have that, man. You're alright. You chew away there, bud. Labradors all the way. Yeah, I love Labradors. Like, Labradors to me are the peak of dogs. But I don't have a big enough home for a Labrador, so I wouldn't have a Labrador. Right, anyway. So, what midfield three do you guys want to see against Bournemouth? Because I need you to help me. Because as I said, when I'm doing out my team selection for Bournemouth, I was doing it last night and I found myself arguing with myself in midfield. So I want to know what midfield trio you think you'd like to see against Bournemouth if you're Jurgen Klopp making that selection. So, with a little quick vote there, 2-1, pretty much for the dogs over the cats. So hold that L there, all you cat lovers. Top dogs won. Right, let's see. Maka, Szoboszlai, Trent. Well, Trent's not playing because he's injured, so that's absolutely not happening. We know he's not playing because he's out until the end of the month. Grav, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Mac, Jones, Harvey. Maka, Jones, Szoboszlai, Sir Giovanni, Mac. I feel like you'd be disappointed with Szoboszlai. I think even if Dominic is available, I don't expect him to be starting the game. I think he'd come off the bench most likely. Jones, Maka, Szoboszlai, said Ed. McAllister, Jones and Gravenberch, said Adam. Harvey, Curtis and Ryan. Jones, Gravenberch and Maka. Yeah, I mean, I think most of us have two names on that list, right? McAllister and Jones are probably the safest bets. I'm struggling between Elliott and Gravenberch in the second midfield position. I don't know which one's the better fit for the game. And also, I've got to be honest with you, I'm struggling between Jota and Gakpo as well. Because two things are in my mind looking at the team selection for the game of the weekend. Number one, Fulham, coming up the following Wednesday. And I'm trying to figure out which striker between Jota and Gakpo is more suited to Bournemouth away and then Fulham away. So, initially, I'm thinking Gakpo's more suited to the Bournemouth game and Jota's more suited to the Fulham game. That's my initial instinct when I'm looking at the attackers. Would you take Pedro Neto? Excuse me. Unsure. Not unsure of the quality. I think Pedro Neto has something about him. I've said this before. He's got that spark, that fire in his belly, and that determination. Certainly got quality as well. I'm unsure. Is he injury prone? You know, he's had a few injuries over his pretty short career. And the last thing we need is to bring in somebody who, you know, might not be available when we need him. And that's, I think, one of the most important aspects of Mo that doesn't get talked about enough. We all talk about his goals, his assists and all this stuff. And of course, valid points on all of them. But his robustness and his availability and his fitness and that's incredible. Like, Mo, in that sense, is a machine. Like, he's always fit and available. Have you seen who scores most goals for Liverpool? 2 subs are second and third. I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I see a lot of stats and stuff over and in our Discord group, lots of posts every day. I can't remember if I've seen that particular one or not. Neto, great player, said Malcolm, made of crisps. Fulham made an offer to Fluminense for Andre. A new one. Makes sense because they're trying to get Andre, and at this moment in time it seems like nobody else is willing to pull the trigger on a deal. So I don't know if Fulham have moved someone on, have they, or found a way to free up some money, but that was the problem. What type of team will Klopp play against Norwich in the FA Cup? Oh, I'd fully be expecting 50-50 mix of youth products and some experience for that game. Is there any chance that we could get Suarez for that one? For the game against Norwich? Just for bants? Because I'd imagine that if they heard Luis Suarez's name in Liverpool's team selection, those Norwich players would just start crying. You know, understandable. Right, so a little bit of an update on injuries, and thank you, Mark, for this. Kostas Tsimikas and Andy Robertson could come back into contention towards the end of the month. So that's a little bit of an update there, but nothing too drastic. Szoboszlai faces a race to be fit for Bournemouth, but I think I've got the feeling we're going to see him not played against Bournemouth and given a few days extra and used against Fulham. And Trent is targeting a return against Chelsea on January 31st, and that's from Paul Gorst of the Echo. So, and thank you, Mark, for sending it on to me. If Trent's back for Chelsea, that'd be brilliant. I mean, I kind of in my head had him penciled in for the following game, but if he can find his way back to fitness for that big game at home against Chelsea at the end of the month, that'd be amazing. That'd be a really good bonus. Oitnuri and Robinson are good covers for Robbo. I agree. Absolutely. But the problem there is, are we all happy to admit that we'd have to sell Costas? Because that's where I'm at with that situation. I've no problem with Costas being there now as cover for Robbo, but I don't think if Andy Robertson hung up his boots, say, in a couple of years' time, I'm not feeling that Costas will be able to take his place full time. So if it's with a view to the future, then Nuri in particular makes sense because he's 22. Robinson's 26, I think. Maybe 27, one or the other. So again, not really a long-term thing there, but there's something about that kid. I call him a kid even though he's 26. There's something about him that he just strikes me as like Andy Robertson 2.0. Just got that engine and that ability to get up and down that left flank all day. Have I been to Newry? Of course. There's very few people from Dublin, mate, that haven't been up to Newry for the old Christmas shop back in the day. Yeah, been up to Newry loads of times. Not in recent years, mind you, but yes. Fulham have made a 30 million plus 5 million offer to Fluminense for Andre Trinidad from Ben Jacobs. Makes sense. You know, we know they've been very interested in him. I can take it at this point that Liverpool just don't want to do that deal, because that number is going to that's going to be accepted. If that offer is true, which we've no reason to doubt it, that's a number that they will accept. And I think that deal starts to progress. So if we did have any interest, I guess that would trigger us to do our bit, but I don't think it's going to happen. Have you seen that Haaland's been selected for Team of the Year? Uh-huh. Um, Probably deservedly so, in all honesty. You know, look at what he did in his first year in English football. You know, whatever we think about Manchester City, and you know what I think, I mean, for him to be the Team of the Year seems perfectly reasonable, in all honesty. No big clubs going in for Andre must mean something's wrong. It is a weird one, because at one point there was talk of Liverpool, Fulham, a couple of other Premier League clubs, and 3 or 4 Serie A clubs tripping over themselves to try and sign Andre. But right now, you know, Fulham have a clear run at the kid by the looks of it. Who's Mantilla? He's a centre-back, Robbie. Plays in Cordoba in Colombia. He's an under-20 Colombian captain, I believe. I think he's 20 years of age, if my memory's right. And he's a centre-back that was linked to us over the past couple of weeks. That's kind of where my knowledge stops. I know from reading articles that Brighton were also interested in him. And both clubs had concerns that if they did want to go ahead with the deal, they're unsure on the work permit side of it, if he'd be able to get that work permit or not. So that's the only information that I know about him, mate. Have I been to the Philippines? I have not, no. I've never had the pleasure of being to that part of the world yet. So I've never been to like Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Dubai, Saudi, Abu Dhabi, and I've never been to any of that part of the world yet, but certainly, definitely on my to-do list. If I'm being really honest, there's some gorgeous parts of the world I want to see when I get time and when I can afford it. Why another young centre-back? Look, it's just links. That's all I'd say to you. I think the Itakura one makes the most sense, because I think that's the bracket of player we should be looking at. Somebody in their mid-20s who has experience. I think we've got Sepp van den Berg still on loan. We've got Kwanzaa. We've got Kanade. They're all young centre-backs. Still on the books at Liverpool, albeit on loan. You've got Cometio. You've got Williams. I don't think they're going to make it. We've got Nat Phillips, of course, still. So I think bringing in somebody, if you're looking to replace the experience of Joel Matip in the squad, 26-year-old makes absolute sense to me. And the number at 13 million, again, it's not a huge outlay for a position that we are realistically just looking for cover in more than anything. Are Fulham selling Paulinho? They absolutely are open to selling him. Problem is, there's nobody willing to pay the money. And I think they were hoping that Bayern Munich were going to come back in after that deal collapsed at the very end of the last window. That offer doesn't seem to be forthcoming. So right now, which is weird, right? Because everybody will sit here and say Paulinho's a wonderful player. And I think most Premier League fans would say he could absolutely do a job at their club. But it's his age versus the price they're looking for. Which is, what I would say about Paulinho is I feel like he's a very young 28, 29-year-old. I feel like he, as in minutes on the clock, he looks fresh. But nobody's going to pay that money in this market because nobody has it at the minute. 60 million quid in January seems like a lot of money to clubs, because you can see clubs having to scrape around to figure out what they can afford to do because of the new financial constraints. Oh my God. So one of the reasons that Manchester United's minutes are so high of games played, right? Remember we said earlier on about the amount of players and minutes or games played in the Premier League by academy products. Well, one of the reasons United have 615 matches played is because, and I'm not joking, Johnny Evans qualifies as one of those academy products. So that's where you've got all those games from Johnny Evans' career, obviously, at Manchester United. Then he went off and now he's back at Manchester United again. So that's where you've got such a jump for United's amount of games played because of Johnny Evans. Youth talent there. Craig, Rice is the best CDM in the world. Disagree. I think Rodri's the best CDM in the world. If you're just looking at it from a CDM perspective. Rice gives you a little bit more. Probably more of a goal threat. And probably a little bit more all round, but Rodri is better in my opinion. And I think if I was to take somebody from the Premier League to put at CDM, it's probably going to be Rodri. And I hate saying that. I hate saying it because I don't want to give any credit to Manchester City, but I do like Rodri. I don't like the way he tucks his jersey into his shorts now. That just looks like his mother dressed him before he went out to play football. But yeah, gotta say, he's probably tippity tops for me. And again, I hate saying it because I don't want to credit City with anything, but, you know, he's a good footballer. Who do you think is the most likely signing in January or no signing? Honestly, I feel no signing is most likely. And I'm okay with it. And again, I know people aren't used to me being this way. And in the summer, I'm probably going to be different because I think summer market... I understand the way the market is, how it is at the minute. I understand. And I'm okay with it if it's looking like FFP is actually getting some teeth. I'm genuinely okay with it all because this is what we've always wanted. Clubs to just spend what they can afford. And if nobody sees value, nobody's willing to take a chance and throw stupid money at it. And that's a good thing in my eyes. I know we can do business. We're one of the clubs that certainly have the ability to do business, but it's got to be the right business. And over the years, Klopp has let it be known that January's a difficult market. He's not overly fond of going into the market in January. And I think we're getting to the point of our season where we're actually starting to get players back from injury, which I think will help us in the second half of the season on a whole host of fronts. You know, we've still got every trophy to play for. And there's not many teams can say that. So we got to make sure that we get these boys back. Continuity is important as well in football. And we've a lot of minutes to play. So weirdly, I'm okay in this window. And I don't know if I feel dirty saying that. But usually, you know me, I'm on here screaming, "Where's the money, John?" But this window's just been different. My nan is the best CDM in the world. I didn't know Rodri was your nan. Mbappe said he asks LeBron for career advice. Well, you know, we're not going there till 8:30, Ezra, but you know what I mean? Surely I'm not the only one at this point, you know? I can't be the only one. Or am I? But, you know what I mean? Choo-choo. When Bajcetic comes back, do you think he'll be a starter? Yes. I do. At least him and Endo will be the starters in that position. You know, Klopp might utilise them in different ways for different games. And that's the beauty of having the ability to rotate with two top players in that position. And I would say as well, I'm looking forward to Bajcetic kind of learning and developing alongside Watoro. So, yeah. I think that'll be the options there. I'm looking forward to McAllister as well moving forward into a position that we're far more accustomed to seeing him in. And because I do feel a little bit bad for him. Because he's kind of gotten lukewarm response since he started playing for us. And I don't think it's truly down to his fault. I think it's down to the fact that he's been forced to to learn how to operate in a different position because of the deficiencies in the squad. Until Endo started to get minutes, at which case Endo, of course, then had to go off to the Asia Cup. Mbappe on the train. I can't be the only one. I refuse to believe that I'm the only one that's allowing themselves to dream a little bit. I know that even those people in the chat or at home who say, don't want Mbappe, I promise you, if we sign Mbappe, those very same people are going to be beside you in the queue in the club shop to get that Mbappe jersey. I'm telling you, if everybody had to walk around with their social media handles floating above their head like a halo, you're going to see some of them same people in the queue with you if Mbappe signs. And that's okay, by the way. One of the privileges that we have as football fans is to be hypocrites. It is one of the joys of being a football fan. It's almost a prerequisite for us football fans. We are hypocrites, all of us. It's a beautiful thing. We get to be hypocrites every week. So, dream. You never know. But you do know. But you never know. You've done this before, Craig, and you were wrong. You'll be wrong again. No, I didn't do this before. I was way more convinced and way more confident and way more informed on the Bellingham situation. So this isn't comparable, because I'm not saying for a second that I know anything about this. I definitely had information on the Bellingham stuff, and he went to Madrid and I took it on the chin. No problem with that. But this is different. I don't know anything about this. I'm just trying to construct the situation in my mind of how it's possible. That's it. I don't know what. What do you think will be Mbappe's role in this Liverpool team? To put the inflatable piece of leather in between the metal object with netting on the back of it as many times as possible. And where that's not possible, to provide somebody else with the opportunity to stick the inflatable piece of leather in between the rectangular shaped metal subject or object with netting on the back of it. And I think, look, I'll be honest with you. If we signed Kylian Mbappe, I don't for 1 minute believe Klopp's going to expect him to defend. I don't. I just don't. People are like, oh, he doesn't defend. Yeah, fair enough. He doesn't defend, but also he puts the ball in the net a lot. And I've always said this. I think every team can carry one player. If that player is a Messi, a Ronaldo, an Mbappe, a Haaland, I think every team can afford to carry one player who doesn't have to do everything that everybody else has to do. I'm sure he'd need to do some type of counter pressing, but I think he'd be given a bit of leeway. And I think you have to, right? When you have the real prodigious talents, the players who maybe sometimes see the pitch on a different level or in a different way and always have that half a second extra, I think it's okay to give them that free roll to say, we want you in this area, but ultimately let the magic happen. Only way Mbappe is when we sell Salah for 250. Well, firstly, there isn't a hope in hell we sell Mohamed Salah for anything above 120 in my eyes. I think people are getting carried away. Last year was the number. For me, last year was the year where we could have extracted maximum value if you were looking at selling Salah, because there was a reason. They had the Club World Cup in Saudi where Al Ittihad were the representatives. So there was a reason the Saudi Pro League was willing to push harder for Mohamed Salah then. Now, with the situation being as it is with 1 year to go, I don't see a world where they come back in with the type of numbers we were looking at last year of 150 upwards. I don't see that coming. I think something between 1 and 120 is probably the offer I'd be expecting if Saudi came back with an offer from Mo in the summer. If we bought Mbappe, what would happen to Lucho? I am from Barcelona. I know nothing. That's what I would expect. But look, think of it this way: if it was Mohamed Salah that we lost out on, let's say, in this scenario, I think Lucho would probably go to the right and Mbappe to the left. I think that's pretty straightforward switch. Okay, I'm gonna come clean. In my head, when I've been dreaming about this, and I have, in my mind, Lucho's on the right, and Darwin and Kylian are interchanging between the left side and the central position. And I'll be honest with you, it's working very well in my dreams. And they are pulling defences apart and creating a lot of space in behind because nobody knows which one of them to mark in which position because Kylian and Darwin are just interchanging and dragging defenders everywhere. It's a joy to see, but unfortunately you have to be inside my head to see it. Calling him Kylian now. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're on that level now. Oh, Jesus, yeah. We're definitely on a first-name basis now. We've gotten to know each other quite well inside my head. So, yes, it is Kylian at this point. Just probably a week away from calling his mother mum at this point. You know, we're getting on that well, me and the Mbappe family in my head. If Liverpool signed Mbappe, they could sell Núñez and keep Diaz. Wash your mouth out. Wash your mouth out. Darwin's going nowhere. No, I would. Do you know what? Honestly, it would take 150 million for me to sell Darwin Núñez right now. And I'm not even joking. 150 million or kiss my ass, honestly. No way. Darwin is... Yeah, he's our boy. He's our little misfit. And there's no way... No, Darwin's staying. 150 million. Xavi Simons could be a good future investment. He's a good player. He is a very good player. Have you guys seen that, actually? Speaking of Xavi Simons, which I guess leads me to PSG, have you seen that Gonzalo Ramos is apparently going to be shown the exit door already at PSG? It hasn't worked out there since he moved from Benfica. So, that's interesting. There's been a couple of those signings that have gone to PSG that I never understood. Like, Ramos was one of them. I just thought, like Gonzalo Ramos, I mean, never understood why that was a good fit. Also, the one that they brought in before, the one that Spurs were, or not Spurs, the one that Newcastle looked at for ages. God, I can't remember what his name was. Etike, that guy? You know the guy I'm on about, I think. That was a weird one as well. I felt like he would have been better placed going to a Newcastle or something. Ugarte as well, yeah. I got to admit, Emmy, that one kind of caught me by surprise. Yeah, I agree with you on Ugarte. That was another one at PSG that I wasn't really expecting. I'm going to pretend I didn't see the Scalvini comment in because I'm embarrassed to say I haven't, mate. No, sorry. You should try to get Joe Bellingham. Honestly, it's looking like Madrid are... if you read some of the stuff in Madrid, it looks like they're going to try and unite the Bellingham family in the future, and Job will end up there. That's... there's been a few articles about that said that that's the plan. But look, I don't know. I've not watched much of Joe Bellingham. I know he's at Sunderland, but I haven't watched much of him. Who would you buy between Xavi Simons and Joe Bellingham? I'd have to say Simons because I've watched way more of him. And yeah, so I don't know about Joe Bellingham because I didn't watch him at Birmingham. I don't really watch the Championship with Sunderland either. Ugarte to Liverpool would have been a good transfer. It was one that we all wanted in the summer, let's be honest. When it became apparent that Sporting were going to be selling him, I thought it was going to be a good fit for us, but Liverpool didn't go in. He went to PSG and the rest is history, I guess. Henderson to Ajax, what are they thinking? Well, they signed until 2026 by the looks of it, so I don't know. Right, look, my friends, I'm going to call it an afternoon there because I've got some other videos to record and stuff. I will see you guys at 8:30 where we're going to really get down and dirty into the transfer talk. Don't forget to bring your Mbappe shirts with you because we're going to be talking about Kylian at 8:30. So, yeah, I'm just off to give Kylian a little message now just to let him know That, you know, if he wants to bend my ear as well as LeBron's, that the option's there for him if he needs it. You know, that's the kind of guy I am. So look, my wonderful friends, thank you so much as always for giving up some of your time this afternoon. Do drop a like on the stream. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And please do not forget to check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel, which today has just been monetized, so yay. And yeah, please do check it out. Anfield Agenda Clips. We will catch up with you soon. See you at 8:30.